Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be discussing Bart Barber and how he has appointed the Cooperation Committee, which will determine a definition of friendly cooperation with the Southern Baptist Convention. Now, we have talked about this in the past. This was a motion made at the SBC 23 that we live streamed here on Evangelical Dark Web. And this motion was made to undermine the Mike Law Amendment, which passed. And this amendment will enshrine in the SBC Constitution that churches with female pastors are not to be considered in friendly cooperation with the Southern Baptist Convention. So this amendment passed. It's going to have to go and pass again next year. However, the liberals have a new strategy, and that ace up their sleeve was this committee. Now, this committee was appointed by Bart Barber. Bart Barber is a liberal in the SBC. And it's worth noting that the Southern Baptist Convention Executive Committee recommended against the Mike Law Amendment because the SBC Executive Committee does not want to disfellowship churches that have female pastors. The SBC doesn't want to do that, but the messengers are actually more conservative on this issue. So the messengers are the ones who sought to disfellowship Rick Warren and Saddleback Church. It was the messengers that ultimately pulled the trigger on that. And once more, it's up to the messengers to reject this committee's definition when they come out with it next year and pass and ratify the Mike Law Amendment. So we're going to be discussing this new committee. But first, I want to let you know, Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. You can support us over at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. That's linked in the description below. Also, check out our free newsletter. There's more articles and videos and podcasts. But the least you can do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, to the podcast, if you are new. So, let's dive into this article that I wrote. And Bart Barber appoints liberal committee to protect female pastors in the Southern Baptist Convention. So we've covered the context, which is the first paragraph. So now let's get into the members. Jared Wellman, pastor of Tate Springs Baptist Church in Arlington, Texas, will serve as the chair. Nothing really special about him. I mean, I think there is, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. Victor Chayasiri Sobon, I totally butchered that pronunciation. Executive and co-lead pastor at First Southern Baptist Church in Anaheim, California. He was the first vice president from 2022 to 2023. So he won last year when Bart Barber won his presidency. Jerome Coleman, this is where things get interesting. Pastor of First Baptist Church, Crestmont in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. He has a female pastor at his church. Major red flag. And here's the evidence. I got the screenshot of the tweet where he's promoting his female youth pastor at his church. Now, it is not biblical to have a female youth pastor for a number of reasons. First of all, it's a pastor, so the title is off. The title is in disobedience to Scripture. Second of all, she's exercising authority over post-pubescent males. And that is also a violation of Scripture. So, it's also worth noting that he has female deacons who are not working in tandem with their husbands at the church. So, some churches believe in husband-wife deacons. And I think that's the steel man position for female deacons. But Jerome Coleman's church does not believe in that. They have female deacons that are not working in tandem with their husband. So that's a no-go. That's a no-fly zone in any case, because the steel man position is husband-wife, but that is not what that church believes. So this is a church that would be disfellowshipped from the SBC under the Mike Law Amendment. Tara Dew, speaker and wife of Jamie Dew, the president of New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. I believe he gave a pretty bad report at the SBC. Jamie Dew doesn't seem to be doing his job. Donna Gaines, speaker and author and Bible teacher, wife of Steve Gaines, a pastor of Bellevue Baptist Church in Cordova, Tennessee. Steve Gaines was one of the liberal SBC presidents who pushed this committee to be made. So 5 Southern Baptist Convention presidents, liberals from the past, banded together to get this amendment, to file this motion to make this committee. And those 5 presidents were J.D. Greer, Ed Litton, Steve Gaines, James Merritt, and Fred Luter, I want to say, was the 5th. So it was those 3, or 5, they banded together to get this amendment passed, or motion passed, which would undercut the Mike Law Amendment. So one of the pastors, former SBC presidents, that was up at the podium to make this motion, his wife is on this committee. Major red flag. Because, husband and wife, they work in tandem. And he wanted to undermine the Mike Law Amendment, and she's on the committee to do that. Travis Kearns, Matt Hensley, associational missionary of the Collins Baptist Association in McKinney, Texas. Hensley is a pastor of Bart Barber's church. So we got a Bart Barber connection. Travis Kearns, associational mission strategist of Three Rivers Baptist Association in Taylor's, South Carolina. Again, not really a known quantity. Richard Land, former president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission, Evangelical Dark Web, has done a lot of documentation on the insidious influence of Richard Land. He is a hardcore liberal. He is one of the worst men on this committee. This is someone who has a pretty well-documented history of subverting the Southern Baptist Convention. He did it before Russell Moore did it. And Russell Moore was the one who got caught. He became obvious. But Richard Land was subversive before him. And there's a reason why the same convention that tolerated Richard Land also tolerated Russell Moore. Jonathan Lehman, another terrible person on this list. Jonathan Lehman is the editorial director of 9 Marks, elder at Cheverly Baptist Church in Bladensburg, Maryland. Jonathan Lehman is the woke right-hand man of Mark Dever. So Lehman is extremely woke, and for him to be on this committee, bad news. Now, Lehman, to his credit, was one of the people who advocated the Mike Law Amendment, but it's not good when he's one of the leaders behind the Mike Law Amendment. That's a major threat to the effectiveness of the amendment that he's on this committee. Jason Paredes, lead pastor of Fielder Church in Arlington, Texas, a multi-campus megachurch. I don't know if they have female pastors. Their website was eerily similar to Saddleback Church's website, in my opinion, at least. Gregory Perkins, lead pastor of the View Church in Menifee, California, current president of the National African American Fellowship. So we covered him in the past. Gregory Perkins was one of the people who wrote the open letter to the Southern Baptist Convention to not oust black churches. He was playing the race card on the female pastor issue. He's saying if you enforce the Mike Law Amendment, all these black churches are going to get kicked out. That's Gregory Perkins. Already got the race narrative baked in. Now, he's not the only black person on this committee, so it's not like he's not the token on this committee or anything like that. But he's there to bring the race narrative, to guilt these people who aren't white on this committee. Jim Richards, executive director emeritus, or emeritus, if you like to call it that, Southern Baptist of Texas Convention. So that's the SBC Texas Convention. They also have the Baptist General Convention of Texas, I think. And then we got Juan Sanchez. Juan Sanchez might be the best man on this list as far as known quantities go. Juan Sanchez was one of the big people throwing his name behind the Mike Law Amendment. He was working with 9 Marks for this. He's also Big Eva, though. He's part of the Gospel Coalition. So he might be one of the good people in Big Eva, but he also might let us down here. Don't have your expectations high. Andrew Walker, ethics and public theology professor at SBTS. He's practically a Russell Moore wannabe. He's even co-authored some things with Russell Moore. Trevin Wax, major effeminate dude right here. Author and vice president of the research and resource development at the North American Mission Board. He is a woke company man. He's pretty woke. And pretty effeminate as well. And then we got Tony Wolf, executive director treasurer of the South Carolina Baptist Convention. Another SBC company man. You know, some of these people don't seem bad at all. But we got some pretty bad people in Richard Land, Jonathan Lehman, Trevin Wax, I wouldn't trust. Donna Gaines, I wouldn't trust. Gregory Perkins, I wouldn't trust. And neither would I trust Jerome Coleman. Bart Barber did not stack this committee with reliable people. Instead, there's at least one member, whose church would be disfellowshipped under the Mike Law Amendment and the Rick Warren precedent. The Rick Warren precedent being that they just disfellowshipped his church, Saddleback Church, for having women pastors. Even the people who backed the Mike Law Amendment at SBC 23, like Lehman, are prone to buckle. Lehman is extremely woke, and he will likely balk at the idea of disfellowshipping liberal black churches. He's going to be pretty woke and not want to do that. So the Mike Law Amendment is in trouble. It's in some serious trouble with that committee. That's a lot of people. And at the convention, they wanted to poison pill this thing with having Al Mohler at the chair of this committee. I believe that was Dusty Devers that wanted to do that. It did not work. It was probably not a good strategy in hindsight. Maybe it was. But the motion was going to carry. So they tried to kill it with the poison pill. Maybe they should have just made the argument instead. Who knows? But that's your SBC update. Have a blessed day. We will catch you on the next one.